Welcome to Good News Covington County, a May 17th, 2018 edition. Folks, we're fooling with some new equipment, so we may make ourselves look even stupider than normal. Our first segment this morning is brought to you by the Road Runner Car Wash, Andalusia's newest and finest car wash. Road Runner Car Wash is located at the intersection of Western Martin Luther Parkway and Prestwood Bridge Road. They're doing a soft opening right now, but the quality of their car wash and detail services can't be beat. And the prices will get your attention as well. If you want your car to look its best for a little dough, go to the Road Runner Car Wash. How sweet it is today! The article by Josh Dutton, and Andalusia wins its first ever baseball title. Josh Dutton from the Andalusia Star News wrote a great article straight from up in Montgomery when it happened. And it's so fun. We're so happy for these kids from Andalusia High School and their baseball team. The Andalusia High School Bulldogs claimed their first Alabama High School Athletic Association Baseball State Championship after knocking off the Hoax Bluff Eagles in 2 games on Wednesday at Riverwalk Stadium in Montgomery. And it was what a game. They lost yesterday and they were forced into having to play 2 games today. And in the first game, it was Andalusia's 2, Hoax Bluff 1. Facing elimination in the second game of the best-of-3 series, the Bulldogs fought their way to a 2-1 victory behind a dominant performance on the mound from Ethan Wilson. Wilson started the top of the first inning with a scorching line drive. He not only pitches the ball, he hits it, but it found to the glove of the Eagles' right fielder for the first out. Garrett Davis, another Andalusia player, reached first after an error, and then moved on to second on a fielder's choice from Hogan Nichols, who is Andalusia's highest batting average player. That was as far as Davis would get into that opening into the frame. They left men on base when the inning was over. Wilson got the first batter in the bottom of the first inning when he was pitching, got him to ground out to Aiden Amos for the first out of the inning before getting a strikeout on the second out. Another ground ball to Amos finished off the inning. In the bottom of the second inning, Wilson struck out a pair of batters in a 1-2-3 inning. Andalusia got a one-out runner when Gil Morgan was hit by a pitch. But that was erased on a fielder's choice off the bat of Wilson. Wilson then stole second base and moved to third, and when the catcher's throw went into the center field, the Bulldogs grabbed the lead when Davis drove a double into the gap to score Wilson with ease. Davison moved to third on a wild pitch and advanced home on another wild pitch to put Andalusia up 2-0. Hoax Bluff came back with a couple of base hits and a walk to score 1 run. On the play that the runner scored, Wilson tripped over the catcher's mask and appeared to roll his ankle. After a brief delay to allow Wilson to tape and test his ankle, he got back on the mound and finished the game out. That guy is tough. He is a gamer. In the bottom of the 7th inning, Wilson got off the first batter to pop out to Sebastian Stallworth in right field, and then struck out the next 2 batters to finish off the victory and force a deciding Game 3. In the second game, it was Andalusia 10, Hoax Bluff 6. The Bulldogs claimed the state title with a 10-6 win victory in the final game of the state championship. Wilson led the top of the first inning with a triple, and they came around to score a sacrifice fly from Nichols. In the bottom of the second innings, the Eagles took advantage of 2 wild pitches to take a 2-1 lead. Davis started out the top of the third inning with a 1-out single and moved around the second when Nichols was hit by a pitch. Walks to Stallworth and Will Clark allowed the Bulldogs to tie the game. The Bulldogs took the lead when Chip Morgan drove in a run with a sacrifice fly, and that tied the game in the bottom of the third inning. Jacob Cravey drew a 1-out walk in the top of the third inning and came around to score on a double from Gil Morgan. Nichols then came through with the RBI single to put Andalusia on top 5-3. The Bulldogs then took advantage of a couple of wild pitches to take a 7-3 lead. Hoax Bluff scratched their way back into the game and forced the Bulldogs to make a pitching change. Morgan came in for his brother, C. Morgan, and pitched a pair of outs to leave the Bulldogs on top 7-6. Heading into the 6th inning, Wilson walked to start the top of the 6th and then came around to score on a double from Nichols. Hope's Bluff got a leadoff walk to start the bottom of the 6th, but C. Morgan and Amos teamed up for a double play up the middle to stifle the threat. In the 7th inning, Hope's Bluff elected to intentionally walk Wilson and load the bases. And Davis made the Eagles pay dearly when the bases were juiced. Davis laced the ball down the third base line to give the Bulldogs a 10-6 lead. Hope's Bluff got a one-out single in the bottom of the 7th, but Amos turned another double play to seal the Bulldogs' state championship victory. First of all, I said last week it was the greatest performance that I've ever been a part of as a head coach, and tonight matches that. And that was last week's game when Ethan Wilson actually had to come in from the outfield to finish pitching. He outdid himself by being injured and coming in. We had a tough one last night. We didn't play very well. No, they had 5 errors. We didn't pitch well, we didn't feel well, and we didn't hit well. Today we came back and refocused. Hats off to Ethan Wilson in the first game. He twisted his ankle on a freak play. He grinds out after that and finishes the game for us in a 2-1 ball game. There's a third game. There in the third game, I told him this morning that anything could happen in a game 3, and it did. We battled, and battled, and battled. And in the end, we scored enough runs to win. Hats off to Chip Morgan and his brother Gil Morgan in slamming the door there at the end. That's not easy to do. I'm extremely proud of these guys. Aiden Amos, an 8th grader, turns 2 double plays in the game and in game 3 of the state championship. What an unbelievable baseball player he is. And that's true of all those kids. Tyler Dent has done a great job with them, and that's true of all of them. Now, we're going to take a break now, and we'll be back in just a second. Welcome to Good News Covington County, 17th of May edition. This is Brother John and Cousin Tom and Cousin Jerry. We're playing with new equipment today, trying to figure out how to make this broadcast better for you. And if we look like we're struggling, it's because we might be a little bit today, but it's all worth it. If they could ever get me, if they can get me trained without running out of newspaper, this thing's going to be fine. Our next local news is brought to you by the people at Andalusia Tire, located at 850 Western Bypass in Andalusia. If you got a flat on anything from your bicycle to that Terragator spreading fertilizer, your best choice to get rolling in a hurry is Andalusia Tire Company. Call Jimbo, Todd, or Greg Caton at 334-222-3136 for your tire, brake, and chassis needs. Chassis means alignment. Andalusia Tire can get you tires from just about anybody you would want a tire from. They'll do the work right the first time. Now for local news. And this is big news. The local Piggly Wiggly is open. Piggly Wiggly opened its doors on Wednesday to a soft opening, but they're really open now on Thursday. Here's an article by Christopher Smith in the Andalusia Star News. Andalusia's new Piggly Wiggly held its soft opening yesterday and plans to have a grand opening mid-July. We want to get our associates back to working and get them familiar with the equipment, Manager Chance Robertson said. We're ready for customers to come back, though. There's some slight changes to the store, once known as Winn-Dixie, that were made for improved customer convenience. Now, I want to tell you something. One of the things that I wanted to see was how the meat department was. And I went and bought some steaks last night. I bought some steaks and I cooked them. And I told those boys that if it was bad, I'd come back with them. And you can't find a better steak than I got last night for Winn-Dixie. And to be honest, I don't know for Piggly Wiggly, I don't know if you can cook them better than I did last night. It was excellent. All I know is that everybody at the house was real pleased. Among other things they did in the stores, they lowered the shelves to 67 inches. The owner and I asked around and did our research, and we noticed that a lot of people can't even reach the top shelf. So since we lowered them, our customers seem to like it better. We hope that'll increase customer satisfaction. Piggly Wiggly will also introduce new types and all types of pet food to include food for livestock, horses, goldfish, chicken feed, and rabbit food, along with dog and cat food. We started to notice that people have a lot of different companion animals other than dogs and cats, Robinson said. We want to make it where our customers can have a one-stop shopping experience instead of having to travel out of the way to get these types of pet foods. Robinson said that all the departments have remained the same in the store, and all of the departments are the same. We still have fresh foods from our deli and fresh produce. Robinson said, we have a great staff that's with us, and I told all of the employees that that wanted to stay, that they could stay. We have all the same fresh foods and the same great prices. Piggly Wiggly will also have beer and wine license, and will have the product in the store by Monday, May 21st. Piggly Wiggly owner Tom Pfeiffer said that he is ready to serve the community. We're still the same warm store that is ready to serve the community, Pfeiffer said. We want to get as open as quickly as we could so we could serve the people of Covington County. Piggly Wiggly will be open every day from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Now, again, in transition, we want to mention another business news, something that we talked about yesterday. Harold's Furniture is under new ownership and got a lot of things that have changed. You need to go by their store on East 3 Street, just east of the post office, and the first thing you'll notice in the front of this building is how much it's changed. Harold's Furniture is now Harold's Home. Harold's Home has a complete new look and logo. Inside the store at Harold's Home, new layouts have changed, and new lines have been, when I say lines, they've got new furniture suppliers that are changing and coming into the store, and it really looks good. Jeffrey Douglas, who's also the manager and owner of Mr. Mattress Stores in this part of the state, is a new owner, and he's got a great crew with names and faces you're familiar with. And I'll tell you, isn't that one of the wonderful things about living in South Alabama, where you can see people that you're used to seeing and deal with them every day? They've got the same good people there that have been there for years. If you're familiar with those people, nothing else has changed, helping you is their number one priority as they update their homes. And they will be providing new home furnishings and accessories, and they have got a lot of accessories. When you're driving in the parking lot at Harold's Home, you'll also notice something new. The red, white, and blue floor store that now fills much of the eastern third of the store. The floor store has a complete line of flooring for you to choose from, whether you want original oak, pine, or laminates. Whether you want ceramic tiles or carpet or throw rugs, Harold's Home and the floor store have literally got you covered. Now that's about all we've got right now in local news. We'll be back in just a minute. Our next news is brought to you courtesy of the people at Darby's Medical Center, located across the street from the Andalusia Health Campus, and Darby's original Village Pharmacy Center, located at 301A East 3 Street. No matter which side of town you live on, Darby's has a pharmacy near you, with professional local pharmacists and prices competitive with any of the big chains. Darby's is your best choice for all your pharmacy needs. Call Laura and the other pharmacists at 582-3784 if you need help at the South 3 store. Or call David and his highly qualified group of professionals at 222-8825 at the East 3 location. That's a great thing that's going on there. And we're so happy to have them on board with us. Our first story is in this segment is a little something of interest, and this is law enforcement, National Law Enforcement Week in this part of the world. And the Star News has written several articles about people in our area that have given their career to enforcing the law. And Michelle Gerlach wrote a real interesting story about Mr. Kennedy, who's been a state trooper for 22 years. And this is the second in a series of law enforcement memorials. Matt Kennedy started his career in law enforcement at the age of 20 and never looked back. I got inspired to do law enforcement by my brother-in-law, who was a Daphne police officer at the time. At the time, I was going to junior college and LBW Community College, and it was a time that I didn't really know what I wanted to do in life. Kennedy, at the age of 20, started his career as a cadet who was waiting for training to become an Alabama State Trooper. And they just don't get to go off and do that. As a state trooper, Kennedy's primary job description is to enforce traffic laws and investigate accidents. I left for the academy when I was still 20, and I actually turned 21 while in the academy. My brother-in-law was actually there at the same time I was. That had to be nice to have that support there. Once Kennedy graduated from the academy, he was assigned to Connecticut County, where he worked for a little over 5 years. Kennedy, who was born and reared in Andalusia, was thankful to be close. I was very fortunate to be put close to home as I was. After that, Kennedy was assigned to the Covington County, and he's been here for 16 years. Many of us may already have a ticket from him. I can tell you, he's a nice guy when he stops you. In total, Kennedy has nearly 22 years of working as a state trooper. Kennedy said one thing that he's learned in his time of law enforcement is that people is people. I learned a lot about people, he said. This job has made me have a lot of contact with the public, and I've met so many people. That's probably my favorite part. His job was supported by his family. Sometimes the long hours and the odd shifts can keep you away from your family, but it's been good to me and my family, he said. Kennedy and his wife, Nicole, have 2 children. He said he likes to do anything that involves the outdoors and enjoys watching Deadliest Catch and anything or that is a show on True Grit. Now, they memorialized the officers killed in duty in Covington County in the state yesterday. And again, Christopher Smith at the Andalusia Star-News has got a great story. All area law enforcement orders and their supporters gathered Wednesday morning for a solemn remembrance of fellow fallen officers as a part of Law Enforcement Memorial Weekend. 9 officers have fallen in the line of duty in Covington County. An officer can never predict or expect not to come home, not to iron their uniform one more time, not to kiss their wives or child again, or even say goodbye one last time. Andalusia Police Chief Paul Hudson said, what they did do as expected of each of us is they answered the call to keep our communities safe. They protected and served and made the ultimate sacrifice. What they're doing now is celebrating with their Heavenly Father. Continue to answer that call, Hudson said. Know that every moment with your family, every kiss or hug that you have could be your last, and you should appreciate it. It honors the lives of the fallen by giving much of yourself to the loved ones that you have locally as you do your work in your community. Honor your brothers and sisters in law enforcement by continuing the job they began. Op Police Chief Mike McDonald shared some chilling statistics. I knew 5 of the 9 names on the monument. They were all good folks and they were all good cops. And then something went wrong for them, and they're no longer with us. When that happens, you're going to be the last person to see it coming, and it'll come rapidly, and you're not ready for it, and then you're going to die, or people will die. McDonald said that in 2017, there were 135 officers that died, 58 of those being criminal homicides. He said in 2018, there have been 58 officers that have died, many of those being criminal homicides. The average age of those officers that died is 39 years. My friends, that's pretty young. McDonald said the average time of duty that it served was 11 years and 7 months. They weren't a bunch of rookies. I pray to God comforts and protects, that God comforts and protects the families of the loved ones, and that they rest easy. We will take it from here and take over your watch. McDonald then turned to the officers in the room and said, I pray that God gives you the wisdom to do your duty. Dennis Meeks had the first-hand knowledge of it, what it's like to lose an officer. 2 of those officers, Heath Kelly and Larry Smith, were killed while I was sheriff, Meeks said. Having those 2 men killed under my watch is the hardest thing I've ever dealt with, and I hope it doesn't happen to Chief Hudson or Chief McDonald. Meeks went on to talk about excellence. Whatever the reason, let us always strive for excellence, Meeks says. The root word in excellence is excel. which means to rise up and out of. As we remember our fallen heroes, wherever you are in your career, rise up out of your situation and move toward excellence. We can expect no less. Mayor Earl Johnson and District Attorney Walt Merrill also spoke at the event, which was held at the Williams Law Enforcement Training Center. Now, folks, we're going to take a break right now, and we'll be back shortly. Our next news is brought to you courtesy of Bauer Auto Parts, located at 304 East Covington Avenue in Opp, Alabama. If you need auto parts, check out the best four-letter word in Napa, in auto parts, Napa at Bauer Auto Parts. Call Jamie or Jackie or any of their crew at 334-493-4017 for all your auto parts, heavy duty, and hydraulic system needs. That's Bauer Auto Parts in Opp. Now, an article by Lacey Stinson on the farmers market that's going up to open up this week. For those that are craving local honey, fresh fruits and vegetables, and other home goods, don't worry. The 2018 Andalusia Farmers Market will kick off this season on Saturday, May 19th from 7 a.m. until noon at the Power Plant Marketplace on Central Street. From then, the market will be open every Wednesday and Saturday from 7 a.m. until noon. The farmers market usually starts in May and ends by the end of August, said Allison Voyevich, the market manager. Voyevich also works with the city's horticultural department. There's going to be a little bit of everything, which is great. There'll be vegetables, fruit, baked goods, jams, jellies, fresh cut flowers, and craft goods. The market will be outside with the building open behind it for the bathroom facilities. Voyevich says that the annual sellers meeting was held Tuesday night. With the initial meeting, there were about 10 sellers there, but people can come and join anytime that they want to. Voyevich said the goal for the farmers market is to have a family feel at the place, and I want this thing to be a place where families come out and do their shopping, she said. This is Voyevich's first year as a market manager, but she's hoping to get more social media interaction. I'm trying to up the social media use, and I'm looking to do sellers' bios so that people can know who they're buying from. I'm thrilled to be the market manager, she said. For more information on the market, call 334-222-3312. Another interesting story by Lacey Stinson, entitled "A Fake Pizza Order Leads to Car Theft." Woman's vehicle taken during pizza delivery that wasn't. A Domino's Pizza employee's car was stolen Tuesday night when she left the keys in it during the delivery. Peyton Harris had been working for Domino's for almost 2 years, but just recently became a driver. It all started when a large chicken and bacon and ranch pizza needed to be delivered. Someone placed an order for the address at 502 Palmetto Street. When I got to the address and delivered the pizza, there was a guy standing in the front porch smoking. Harris said she walked up to the porch and the man told her that he hadn't ordered the pizza. She said, I asked him if it was 502 Palmetto Street. He said, yes, ma'am. And then all of a sudden he said, hey, there's somebody in your car. Harris turned around to see somebody backing up her car, a 2004 gray Hyundai Elantra, and pulling out into the street. There on Brook Street they were, and away they went. They were hiding in bushes at an abandoned house with super high grass, waiting for me to get out of my car. Harris says she immediately started freaking out. I want the news from Psycho. I asked the man, and he called to call 911, and he did, and talked to the police. The police showed up, and we both did a report. The officer said they tried to track the miscreant and find the car because her phone was in it, but it had been thrown out the window on East 3 Night Street. Harris was taken to the police department to wait for her mother to pick her up, and she was told to lock any cards and any other thing that she had in the car. She said they wanted to see if there was a GPS in my car. She said, I called Midtown Motors in the morning and found out that I did have GPS in my car. My car was now on McClendon Avenue. Midtown Motors then reported the location of the car to the police department. They are still investigating the situation. Harris said Wednesday afternoon her vehicle had been recovered but was in police custody as the investigation continued. Harris said she was mainly concerned about her belongings inside the vehicle. Hopefully everything is still where it was, she said. Andalusia's police department spokesman said that the case is still under investigation. The car has been recovered and we have investigators working on it, said Alan Schofield down at the city. Well, folks, we're going to take a little break now and we'll be back shortly. Hey, folks, have you tried the food at the Happy Kitchen? It's located over in Westgate Plaza off of MLK. If you haven't, you're missing a real treat. I eat there regularly, and you can tell by the looks of things that the food's good, the portions are generous, and they're open 6 days a week. The Happy Kitchen is a local resource for about everything you'd want in the way of Asian food, from hibachi to sushi just about, Mongolian beef to beef and broccoli. If you can't dine in, call them for a carry-out order at 334-222-1398. But I will tell you, if you don't call them, and if you don't go, you're missing out on a dining experience of a lifetime. The portions are generous, and the food is excellent. If you want a really good deal on food, go to the Happy Kitchen and have a lunch. Oh, my goodness. Don't put that plate on top of your head because your tongue will beat your brains out trying to get to the food. I just want to say it again. Way to go, Bulldogs. Go out there and beat those folks from Hope's Bluff 10-6 for a state title. I tell you what, that was a great thing. And here's an article to back that up. It's kind of an interview with Coach Tyler Dent, written by Josh Dutton. Andalusia coach Tyler Dent said that he feels his team deserves the school's first ever state basketball championship. They do deserve it, Dent said. The community deserves it, and these kids deserve it. These seniors, especially Ethan Wilson, remind us often that it's been his dream to win a state championship, and now he can call himself a state champion. We joked last week about breaking the curse. We just wanted a chance at this thing. Well, Andalusia's Wilson has been named the most valuable player for the Class 4A State Championship Series. It was the best feeling in the world, Wilson said, of winning the state title. I went to the players. I told them I would give them everything I had in game 2, and they picked me up in the game 3. That was literally gutsy performance like that, Coach Dent said. That was my last high school baseball game, and it sucked. But then again, it's the best feeling in the world, said Wilson. I can't thank the players and coach enough for everything they've done for me. This is a dream come true. Nichols shared his thoughts on winning the state title. You can't compare it to anything, Nichols said, especially to do it with the guys that I've been surrounded by. It's all out of love, without a doubt. There's no other group of guys that could have done this, Morgan talked about. Morgan talked about picking up the save in the game, the championship game. I knew if I could just keep putting the ball in the strike zone that my players would make the plays, Gil Morgan said. I've trusted them all of the time. Aiden Amos, Amos said the turning point for him was those double plays that were big plays. An 8th grader he is, and he did that. We're going to take a break now. We'll be back shortly. Our final news, weather, and buzzard report and fishing tables are brought to you by Anthony King and all the outfitters and guides at Fletcher's Outdoors. If you're in Andalusia, they're the place to go for your outdoor needs. If you need expert advice on what's biting at the local lakes, talk to the folks at Fletcher's. They can tell you not only what's biting, but what they're biting on. They can also tell you where to go fishing. For all your hunting and fishing needs, even the coolers and ice, check with Fletcher's Outdoors, located at the corner of MLK Bypass and Brooklyn Road. Oh yeah, if you're hungry, Fletcher's has a breakfast buffet that's worth waking up for. And that lunch they serve, oh, it's mighty, mighty good. Today's outdoor adventures start with the daily Solomon fishing tables, courtesy of the folks at Bassmasters. Today should be a good day for fishing, according to our tables. The best daylight fishing times today will be, from about 1:45 this afternoon until about 5:08. Tonight's best fishing times are from about 1:13 in the morning until 4:30 Friday morning. Now, coming to you from high atop the observation platform at Covington County Courthouse, WKNI's crack meteorologist, Arthritis McDaniel, is here with our buzzard report. Arthritis says there were only four of Covington County's carnivorous creatures were located up there today. I'm sure they were already out and going before Arthritis got there. But the birds are in the air and doing their job. Weather for Thursday and Friday is as follows. Thursday, well, we're going to have some showers Thursday. We might have some thunderstorms as well, mainly after 1 p.m. Sunday, Friday, it's going to be partly sunny with a high near 91, calm wind becoming southwest around 5 miles an hour, 60% chance of rain. Tomorrow night, 40% chance of rain and thunderstorm, mostly cloudy with a low around 70, 5 mile an hour wind out of the south. Friday, well, it's going to be more of the same. High about 89, 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms. And that's going to be about the way it will be until we slide into Saturday. Friday night, about 20% chance of rain and thunderstorms, and partly cloudy with a low of about 68. Well, folks, that wraps it up for today. We appreciate you watching us here on Good News Covington County. We hope that we've helped you learn a little something. We thank you, each and every one of y'all, for contacting me and saying hello. Any way that you do it, we're thankful for it. We hope you have a great day. And we want you to do two things. Shop local and be kind to one another. See ya.